Alright everyone, been a while since I made a video. I wanted to talk about this concept of the black box, the black cube, the Kaaba, to use Islamic terminology. So within the global elite of the cesspool, they use a lot of symbolism, and the symbolism of the black box is very prominent. You'll see associations to Saturn and to depictions of the symbolism of a black cube. You'll find all over the world: Saudi Arabia, Australia, Hamburg, New York, Orange County, many places. It also has an association, of course, with Mecca and the Islamic idea of this. But two phases to this black cube. So one representation of the cube is containment, limitation, caught in the material world, the material prison, with limited consciousness, those who follow the program with a very small limited bandwidth. So structured, grounded in reality, material reality. The other interpretation of the black box occurs frequently in esoteric works and within the occult and certain religions, signifying Saturnian connections, prison planet Saturn. It can indicate influence, control, but also information of the divine wisdom. So in Freemasonry, it can indicate or symbolize transformation of the raw self, and ascending in consciousness into an enlightened being. And you see this symbolism when somebody passes out at graduation and they get a flat black cap, or the flat black cap on top of the crown chakra, where your connection to infinite higher self is now covered by the limitation of the black cube on the head. It's the same that you can see in law enforcement. You see a flat black cap on top of the crown chakra, indicating limited consciousness, containment. But from an esoteric point of view and from an occult point of view, they understand what this means. So here's what I've come to believe about this concept of the black cube. And allegories in film or shows, TV shows, I have to tell you, right? So the show Dark Matter is a great indication of the concept of the black cube. So this genius guy cultivates a physical manifestation of a black cube. And when you open the door and step inside, it's just the empty walls of a black cube. That represents the containment and the limited consciousness or the limited bandwidth of the masses. That believe if it's not measured by science, you can't see it, doesn't exist. Everything's a conspiracy theory. People that just follow the script are inside of the black box, the containment of that, with no expansion, no opportunity to advance to a higher level of consciousness or to get to a higher place. But this guy, this genius who develops this black box, he understands So think about this as a concept of mind, right? This is conscious mind. The containment of a black cube is the bandwidth of the data that you can hold. You cannot see outside the expansion of this. That would be the containment, that would be the prison, the material prison. Cognitive mind, programmed mind is that. Subconscious mind is where everything exists. Past, present and future. At the same time, quantum plausibility exists. All versions of you, from the lowest to the highest, exist within the etheric consciousness. It's just where your consciousness goes, and on a collective where the consciousness goes, that directs the outcome. So if the subconscious mind is God mind, infinite possibility, where all exists, everything that is, ever has been and ever will be exists, well, you couldn't possibly contain that because it's infinite, right? But if you could proportionally move so far from it that there you did find a beginning and an end, which is contradictory because anything infinite has no beginning and no end. But if you could put all that is inside of one structure, that could also be a cube of infinite dimension, but a cube nonetheless. Now the only difference is when you go inside that cube, instead of it being an empty space of a black cube, cognitive mind, somebody who is in this, use a new age term, 3D matrix, and is stuck in that, the box is empty. But for God mind, when you step inside the cube, there are infinite corridors with infinite doors that behind lead to infinite possibilities of future, of experience. Stay with me, right? So instead of with God mind walking into that black box, there's infinite corridors with infinite doors that have infinite plausibilities, quantum plausibility, right? So what this guy does is he invents this box, and he gets the assistance of a scientist that creates these psychosomatic changing drugs, which, from what I can make out, shut cognitive mind down and open God mind, subconscious mind. So now when you take this drug, it's on a time frame. You've got so long. And you come to inside the black box, only now it's not an empty black box, cognitive mind, it's infinite corridors with infinite doors. And whatever one you choose can be a different outcome. Here's the kicker, right? So the guy that's sussing this out, I won't give away the plot, but basically the guy that developed the black box put all his love and attention into that and sacrificed his marriage, his kid, his family, because he was just completely obsessed with this idea. And he lost his family, they left. But what he realised is under the influence of these mind-altering drugs, where I'm in God mind, I can go to any door, open the door, past, present and future exists at the same time, and I can go back and change the outcome. And his objective was go back, find the version of him that stayed with his family, remove him and take their place. Now, the guy that he done this to, he didn't destroy him, and the guy sussed out what was going on and found the drugs and went in the cube and was now seeking to get back to the point before he came so he could change the outcome. Confusing, I know. So he's set in Chicago. So every time he opens the door, he comes out into Chicago. It's always Chicago. The only difference is it could be at the right time or the wrong time. Any number of things could have happened before that create a different outcome. And what he doesn't realise until quite a way into the show is that before he opens the door, the picture that he puts in his brain of what he wants to see has an associated feeling. And when you apply attention to the feelings from that picture that you want to see, that becomes your existence. But what he doesn't realise is you've got to put your mind where you want your life to be. So he's opening the door. Before he opens the door, he's like, oh, I hope this one's okay. You know, I hope there's no turmoil. I hope there's no trouble. He's anxious. Bearing in mind now, when you communicate with God mind, subconscious mind, it doesn't respond to linguistics. It responds to feeling, emotion. So if you are, before you open the door, anxious, will this be all right? You're putting out into the universe from a place of lack. I hope this will be all right, indicating that it's not all right yet. And because it operates in feeling, all you get back is the feeling that you put out, as within, so without. So within is trepidation, opens the door, without is the result of trepidation. It confirms, it gives you what you want. And he's done this a number of times to try and get back to the right place. And sometimes there's a nuclear holocaust, sometimes there's massive fires, there's riots, there's all sorts of turmoil, until he realises that before you step through the door, you've got to put your mind where you want your life to be. And not from a place of lack, as if it's already so. So he goes through all of this to get his wife and his kid back, and eventually they all find out. And because he's done it so many times, there ends up hundreds of versions of him, which he's got to deal with before he can get his family to that place, put the drugs in, which basically mean shut monkey mind, shut cognition down, and tap into your subconscious brain, where all plausibility is possible, and there's no naysayer to say, no, don't be silly, you're only dreaming, no, you can't do that, people like us don't do that. That cognition shut down, it's gone, which means you're in subconscious mind where everything is plausible and you've got no reason to believe it wouldn't be. But it's dictated by your inner dialogue, by the pictures that you put in your brain. So if you stood behind that door thinking, oh, I hope this is going to be alright, shit, and you're picturing turmoil, as within, so without. You go through the door, that's what you get. So it kind of finished with the idea that they're all going to walk through the door with the right mindset of what they want. We're going to go and live in our utopia, away from all of this. We're going to live a version of events that bypasses all the bullshit, and it will be our utopia. And they're all on the same page mentally before they open the door and walk through it. That leads you to believe that, as within, so without. They find their utopia. Well, that's a message. That's an allegory. What that's telling you is that the picture that you put in your brain, which comes from your own internal dialogue, from the words, the language that you implement in your head, creates a picture. And the picture creates or elicits an emotional attachment and feelings. And if you give that feeling your focus and your attention, that becomes your experience. But what I don't tell you is that, first of all, there's a difference between thoughts and thinking. Thinking is critical thought. So if I'm using my own thought-thinking process, then I'm only going to use it in a productive way. I'm going to think about what I want. I'm not going to think about what I don't want. I'm going to live as if it's already so. I'm not going to live in lack. But thoughts are imposed like programs that sit in the background. You may be consciously aware of them, or they just subconsciously take over, and they're just programs that you follow, particularly if you just follow the masses. If you follow any narrative that you're given, which is all doom and gloom, right? It's all associated with keeping you in fight, flight, response. So if pictures of the latest narrative, or thinking, the thoughts of the latest narrative conjure pictures in your head, and that's all doom and gloom, then the associated feeling that you're going to attach to that is doom and gloom. And if that gets your focus and your attention, that's your experience. But what I don't tell you is that you have the power to change the picture. So let's use the analogy of the magic lantern, right? So the magic lantern was the predecessor of early projectors. And basically it was a tin box that you would put a painted glass slide picture into, and then you would apply gaslight, a gas lamp or an oil lamp to illuminate it as you look through. So you look through and picture the slide. Could be of anything. Now, if it's something beautiful and wonderful, then that will induce a nice feeling. And if that has your attention, that's your experience. Conversely, if it's something that's the complete opposite and it's heinous and it's horrible, then that picture will elicit a feeling. If you focus on that feeling, that's your experience. What I don't tell you is you have the power to change the fucking slide. And the way in which to do that is not to visualize it as something that you want. It is to visualize it as something that's already so. So in esoteric circles, they say we have the power to co-create our experience within this realm. What does that mean? Co-create means that you have some degree of control over your outcome. So if it's a script and it's written, you can't necessarily change the script, but you can write your own script. You can't necessarily change events, but you can dictate how you respond to said events. So when I say there's quantum universes parallel to each other, well, you could be in the same place and your next door neighbour hangs on to every narrative that comes out, the latest COVID, monkeypox, the next strain of this, the next strain of that. Oh, food shortage, fuel shortage, famine, war, this, that, worrying about everything. And they're imposed thoughts, putting pictures in the brain that are inducing feelings that you're attaching to, and that's your experience. Right? Conversely, I could live next door to that person and have a very different perception. So my perception as an awakened one is I see the bullshit, I see the patterns. It's all designed to keep you in fight, flight, response. So something dark energy on this planet is feeding off a low vibrational broadcast that it creates by continuous war, famine, divide, this, that. We're seeing all the time. Has there been any let up since the COVID? Come on. COVID, monkeypox, Ukraine war, food shortages, nuclear war, fucking Israel, fuck all of it. It's just constant. Now Iran. All designed to put pictures in your brain. Now, I can choose to look at that 24/7 and dwell on it, and that's my experience. Or I can choose to get educated to what's going on to enough of a degree to see what the cunts are doing now. But I choose if it gets all of my attention or not. So I can't change the outcome for other people's perception, but I can change the outcome of those things for my perception. So I can decide to dwell on those things and worry and sit inside and be scared and not live life, not be in the present and wait for something that may not come. Or I can decide to, well, any of that shit comes my way, because, you know, I've got to coexist with everyone, then I'll deal with it with the same faculties, the same intellect, the same attributes that I have right now, when and if it comes. I don't need to waste my energy, which is present, on it now. Instead of that, now I will focus on what can I do in the construct of the time I'm here right now that is of worth. So that could be something as simple as cleaning out my cupboards and saging my home. It could be catching up on stuff I needed to do. It could be going and having a great workout. It could be creating a beautiful meal. It could be anything, small or not so small. The point is, I'm going to use my time and attention to create and to be here now and to enjoy what I've got now. Because regardless of what's going on in the world, you know, depending on where you are, if you're in these war-torn places with these, you know, poor victims that are collateral damage, well then of course that's awful, it's dreadful. But you can't do anything about that. And that's been orchestrated by bad people that have kept doing what they're doing. They are trying to create a Hunger Games society that potentially, if that's their goal, I can't do anything about that. It takes collective consciousness to take us somewhere else. So it takes a larger population and a mass. 20-80 principle applies here, right? We don't need 50-50. But let's say 20% of actual soulful people on this planet collectively put their thoughts towards stepping through a door that they're going to open that is going to be better than this. And collectively, if that was chosen, then that would be the direction and that would be the perception. So living next door to my neighbour that has doom and gloom, his perception is agonising. My perception every day is doing everything I can that's productive, that's of worth, that's creating, that's helping others, that's working towards my purpose, which is a lot bigger than me, right? A lot more important than just me. My purpose is to be a protector and to teach others how to do the same, be the same, during a time where it's needed most. And that's my purpose. So every day I will create, you know, whether it's video, whether it's working on another book, whether it's publishing an article, whether it's teaching a seminar, whether it's preparation to do something, whether it's something on a personal level, just for my well-being. That allows me to harness my energy, gather my forces so that I'm strong to keep going forward regardless of what comes. Well, now I'm choosing what I do with the script, with what I'm given. And I'm doing something fucking productive, right? I'm not dwelling. So right now I'm giving you this message. I'm sat, beautiful sunshine, beautiful day. I'm on a farm, as you know, as you can hear. But it's beautiful. This environment is just stunning. And right now, everything is good. So like, fuck am I going to waste my energy worrying about what's not good? I'm going to focus on what I want, not what I don't want. And that's what they mean when they say you have the power to co-create. But this black box analogy sums it up, because we're not in the 4 walls of this, 6 walls of this prison. There's infinite corridors with infinite doors. You just got to put your mind where you want your life to be.